Michael on a Sunday morning, and this morning we are going to take it from the deeper connection. So moving into what I want to stress today is how to establish a deeper connection with your intuitive self, your spirit, and how to connect with the higher source, how to get into the connection, how to establish a deeper intuitiveness or relationship or feeling or sensing within inside of yourself of God, which is omnipresent around you, everywhere. So most of us are locked into a limited spectrum of view, or shall I say a very narrow vision point, a limited spectrum. And so we move throughout the day within this locked in focus pattern where we're just focusing on the mundane things around us, like, you know, the little happenings, like the this and the that person who did that to you, and your little circle of friends. But that's the only where it ever goes. It never goes beyond that point, because usually because we don't have the desire to establish a deeper feeling level, or we don't have a longing to get in touch with that. So without any further talking at this point, I'm going to get right into it. And it is Sunday morning. Well, it's quite a magnificent morning, I should say. So we're approaching March 9th. It is March 9th. And in the United States, it's daylight saving time, so we just moved an hour ahead. So let's an hour ahead and an hour into this, or about a minute or 2 minutes into this yoga routine. So we're going to do some postures here, and I'm going to try to relay the fact and how to establish that, and how to get into that, to that deeper modality, into that deeper realm, that deeper focus of thought, into a more meditative zone, working toward the goal of establishing a deeper connection. So let's move and let's breathe. So I'm going to do part of this standing this morning, and then I'm going to sit down for a bit, and it's going to be a little bit of an easier routine, an easier yoga and meditation routine, not quite as hard as the last one. And for those of you that don't know who I am, I'm Michael Jeff. This is the Yoga Lounge, and the channel's been up for a few years. And but aside from that, and all of these things, and I've said it before, so I want to stress always using the utmost caution, follow all of the safety recommendations and things that I allude to, or it doesn't matter, anybody's class, always know thyself, know thy mind, know thy body, know thy spirit, know thyself, know the ways about you, know what you can do, what you can't do. Always consult with a physician if you need, just to make sure, don't go into things, haphazardly. So always be cautious, always be mindful, always be present. Okay, so let's just breathe. Take a deep breath and expand your diaphragm, open up through the solar plexus. Let's lift the arms up, and I want you to just go with me the best you can. And if you need to take a break, then you can always just kick back and watch. And bring the hands down. Let's bring them airplane fashion. So let's start from here. Let's spread the feet wider apart in the mountain pose, Tadasana. Okay, so let's bring the hands up into prayer. Now here, I want you to know you couldn't see it where it was because I was above the camera. So I'm going to bring the hands down, but we're going to keep the hands up above the head. We're going to touch the index fingers together like this. And so this is going to establish a point of connection. So it's a point of focus, and whenever you establish a point of focus, it brings your attention to that, whether it be in the hands, whether it be in the feet, or whether it be toward the top of the head or the ajna chakra, or wherever it is. It brings the focus toward that area, and it gets you into a point of focus, and it gets your mind off all the other clutter that's out there. Okay, so let's bring the hands above. And so we're in tall mountain. Let's lift up onto tiptoes if we can. Just getting a little bit of balance. Let's bring the hands down again. And we can kind of relax the hands and then come down. So lifting up again. Keep the breathing active with that. And coming down. And let's turn, and usually we always stretch out the neck first. So we're also doing a yoga routine today, so we're doing a few asanas. Okay, so let's look over to, today let's go over to the right side. Looking directly over the shoulder, keeping the chin in line with the shoulder. And looking over to the left side conversely. Notice the mind. Notice as it starts to wander, you bring it back. You promptly bring the mind back every time it goes into a distracting thought or any kind of negative emotion or whatever it is. Try to clear out the mind. It doesn't always work, but notice it and watch it and try to let it go as best you can. Don't dwell on it. If you can't do it, just acknowledge the fact that you're having problems and that you're not in the moment, and then try to move on from there. Let's look over to the opposite side once again. Noticing what is over on the opposite side. I'm looking at some blooming flowers looks like for the springtime venue. So we're looking into the flowers and the weeds, and I'm noticing what's around me, the pine cones, the branches. This is where I am. You may just be looking at your apartment, your TV, or your table or your couch. Maybe you're looking up at the ceiling, maybe you're looking out at a beautiful view. Or maybe you're just, you have your, whatever. Maybe in your kitchen. Coming back to center. You start to hear distracting thoughts, sounds around you, let them go. Acknowledge it, let it be, don't let it bother you. And this is how we approach. So when something bothers us, as we relay that or equate it or symbolize that in yoga, when something like a posture, we're in something that's uncomfortable, we don't want to be there, we're saying we're bored, we're this. So we equate that to a situation in life. Okay, it could be like the next day, or it could be like, when you're at a, in a traffic jam, you're at maybe you're in a warehouse, maybe you're at your job, you don't like something, and so you don't like it, but you're there, and so you put up with it, and you acknowledge it, and you keep your balance, you keep your center. And so that's when we're in yoga, when we're acknowledging, when we're looking around, when we're training our mind, we're taking this into our everyday life, and we are thereby doing the same thing when we're living our everyday life. We apply the same tools as we did in the as we do in yoga. So that's why we do these yoga and meditations, to learn how to train this this perpetual, relentless mind that goes all over the place from from 10 days ago to a year ago to yesterday to whatever's bothering. You know, we want to get rid of all that stuff. All right, so let's bring the hands up again. This time reverse the palms. So the palms, the soles of the hands, the bottoms of the hands are facing away from you, so not like this, like we were before, where the palms are together, but the palms are almost, the outsides of the hands are touching each other, palms are facing outward. So now let's part the energy like this. Take a breath, roll the shoulders back, bring the hands down, straighten up within the posture. Bring your hands behind you like this. Open up the shoulders here. So we're engaging some of your core muscles, your abs, and also you're opening up your solar plexus. Your solar plexus, okay, so this is the aim. Now focus as we bring the hands up again, lifting up, visualize the energy coming up from the ground, lifting that energy and visualize that energy going through the Sushumna Nadi, which is the central nadi, all the way up. Visualize this through the chakras, visualize an opening of the channel and lift that energy up. And finally, lift up again into tall mountain and come down. And let's take a few breaths. Bring the chin on down as we exhale toward the collarbone. Exhale, breathe. Hands under the chin, stretching out and promoting a youthful neck. We've done this before. Lift the chin gently up. I'm doing this under a pine tree today, so if you can do that or something like that, it has a tremendous amount of energy. Particularly pine trees do. They emit a lot of negative ions, and if you can do it, or it doesn't have to be that. It could be the lake, or it could be the snow, it could be by the ocean, the sand, even a little bit of the natural sunlight, if it's not too harsh. Come down, exhale, roll the shoulders back, roll the shoulders front, inhale, roll the shoulders back, breaths, keep breathing, inhale, roll the shoulders front, roll the shoulders back, lift the hands up, sway from side to side a little bit. So keeping the body, we're in the military pose, okay, try to always keep the body moving. Never try to stay stationary too long, it tends to lock up things. So let's step out to the right side. Let's go into triangle first, and let's just go into a minimal triangle today. So we're looking up. Let's concentrate now. Let's open up the shoulder, lifting the arm up as high as you can go, pointing toward the sky. The feet are in. The back foot's in 35 degrees, maybe 30 degrees to 45. The back arch lined up with the front heel. Look up to the hand. Try to keep both legs straight into triangle. Deepen the stretch if you want. You can come all the way down to put the palm on the floor if you like. I'll just stay here for now, keeping it simple. A couple more breaths. And let's come up, inhale, exhale. And switch over to the other side. And let's go. Drop the hand, rest it on the leg. Notice that both legs are straight. Open the chest like a ruler is pressing against the chest. Imagine like a board is pressing against your chest, keeping it straight and keeping the shoulder all the way down to the top of the hand to the bottom of the foot. Upper torso, lower torso completely flat, completely in alignment with each other. Not down like this, but opening up. And so this opens up the channels throughout the body, allowing the energy to come in and permeate your being. Okay, and let's come into a simple reverse triangle. I'm not going to come all the way down. You can deepen it as much as you want. Look on the opposite side of you toward lifting the hand, the opposite hand and back. And this is good for balance, looking up toward the hand. Both legs are still straight. Swivel around, and let's go to the other side. Revolve triangle. This is really good for the balance. If the mind wanders, bring it back. Bring it back. Always about 5 breaths in the posture. Up on the power of the breath. I'm going to go into a modified version of the side angle pose. Take a couple of moments, and I've said this before, to always take a few moments between postures. It allows the body to catch up with itself, to come back to, instead of running ahead of yourself, losing energy. So when you allow, the body kind of knows what it wants to do. If you allow it to rest in between postures, usually, it doesn't have to be a long time. It could be about 30 seconds, 45. Sometimes you may just feel you don't want to rest at all, and that's okay too. You want to go for a little bit more of a faster, but it's all subjective, and it's all up to what you're feeling at the time. So let's go into side angle on the right. And today we're just going to rest the elbow, or you can even rest the hand like this. That I'll just go ahead. So if you wanted to do this, kind of like that, we're very modified there. Or if you want to come down resting the arm on the thigh like this. Point the back foot 30 degrees in. Once again, keep those, notice that the feet are in alignment. I don't have the flattest of ground today, so I'm kind of on all these, a little bit of dirt here, and a little bit of pine needles and sticks and stones and whatever, so I don't have the perfect alignment, but you know what I mean. Okay, and let's come up and let's go on the other side. Take a couple moments first. Now when we do the side angle, first of all, we're strengthening the legs and the hips and the whole body and the shoulders, and we're getting a lot of momentary strength from that posture, but we're also we're pulling energy from side to side. So one of the biggest aspects of the side angle pose is we're drawing energy from opposite ends of the earth, opposite ends of the wherever you are. So I'm looking kind of in the woods at that tree over there, and then I'm coming back over to these bushes over here, and so I'm drawing energy from there, bringing it into the center, and energizing myself that way. So let's go to the other side. I think, yeah, I just did that side. Okay, so we're doing it on the left. Once again, exhale as we descend into the pose, and now keep the breath going. Notice the breath. Notice the monkey mind. Notice that you're clearing your mind, keeping it tranquil, being in the moment, staying in the moment. Looking up toward the armpit, opening up the shoulder here. Your palm is pointing down toward the ground, energizing the fingers. Reaching that, so you're drawing energy with that hand that's extended like a straight arm. You're bringing energy back from that hand, from the fingers all the way to the back foot. And so you're opening up that whole line of the body here and really bringing in the that force of energy into your spirit. Okay, energizing. Let's take a couple more breaths and let's come up. A lot of power here. Bring the hands into a cross. And let's go into one more. We're going to do a couple more postures. Okay, let's go into Parsvottanasana, which is, so the first thing now, and we've done this a lot, and this is kind of like the basic series today. So today is very basic, but I'm establishing more of a little bit more meditative today. Okay. Just got some rain for the last couple days, and so it's really nice. There's a lot of positive, there's a lot of good air out there today. So we're going to go with the, I'm just kind of going with it, going to the left side first. You can go to the right, whichever one you want. And let's just rest the hands gently on your thigh, and then just stretch down, keeping the back leg straight, keeping the front leg straight, gazing down at your big toe. Keeping a nice, gentle stretch in the elbows, so kind of an opening, a rounding throughout the elbows. If your hands are too straight and you're gripping like this, then you're probably going too far. You're rounding your back. So you notice that your arms are relaxed, your back is straight. You don't want to go, always try to keep that back straight. As soon as it starts to round, then you want to modify it and come up, so which gives you much more support. In some of the poses, you can use supports, you can use pillows, or you can use blocks, or things to keep you straighter. Or you can, and mainly you can just be mindful and know that you don't want to go beyond the point of exertion or where you're overextending or stretching, particularly in the back. You always want to be very careful with your back. And particularly when you're tired, you're feeling strained, you always want to come up. Don't push it so hard where you overstrain. Okay, and let's come up and let's go to the other side. So we lift up. Inhale. So we, on the inhale, on the lift, we always inhale. And on the descension, we always exhale. So these are the two things in yoga. Lifting, we always inhale. Descending, we always exhale. Let's go to the opposite side. So you notice how I swiveled around. That's a vinyasa. It's a mild form of vinyasa right there. Now straightening out of the shoulders, square off the hips. Step one. Step two, lift the hands up. Again, inhale. Legs are straight, legs are powerful. Straight back as we stretch, and we rest the hands on the leg. Exhaling down to bringing the chest toward the thigh, noticing that you're feeling the legs are feeling a little bit. You feel that shakiness in your legs, and so what that is it's trying. Your legs are gaining strength, and so that's really the adjustment of the legs and the hamstrings, the thighs. They're trying to adjust to what you're doing. So you can feel that as it's kind of almost like you're just a little bit out of balance, but you're in balance, but there's tension within that. So that's perfectly okay. And that's very strength building and balance fortifying. Deepen, noticing that the back is straight, the breath is active, your eyes are relaxed, your arms are relaxed. And come up, inhale, lift. Coming up, looking up toward the hands, exhale down. Let's take a couple moments. Notice the silence. And okay, now, let's notice that, how we're feeling now. How are you feeling now as opposed to when you first started this? We started about 15 minutes ago. What are the feeling changes? Well, are you feeling different in the mind? Is the mind feeling more tranquil? Are the legs feeling, are you feeling more relaxed? Are you feeling more energy? Are you feeling more clarity and thought? So notice all these things, saying, where am I changing? Where am I improving? Where am I not improving? And this is what, so this is the path. This is yoga. This is the life. You know, where, always have a goal. So, and I've said this before, so this being mindful. If you have a plan, and this is one thing I learned a long time ago from a pastor, if you don't have a plan, then you have a plan to fail. So always have an outreaching goal, a perspective. Where do you want to be? Where do you want to go? Where are you getting to? What does this day mean to you? What are you going to achieve in a positive way than rather in a negative way? Okay, so here we go. Let's go into warrior. Let's go into warrior 2. That right knee is directly over the foot, 90 degrees, back foot 45 degrees in. Relax the shoulders here. Relax the hands. The fingertips are very active. This pose, we're drawing in all of the energy through this activation in our arms, bringing that into our shoulders, into our chest, and into our legs, and finally into our feet. Total energy, total energy. Come into reverse warrior. Hand kind of back on the leg, and just kind of gently arch back. So we haven't done this one before. I'll show it a little bit more in the future. Today it's just more of an ease, so don't make it too harsh. If it's too much of a strain, then you don't have to do it. Just stay out of the pose. You can take a break for a second and then come out, and let's go to the other side, and let's go into warrior 2. Get that knee directly over the foot. Keep the back foot planted, right? Okay. I'm going to adjust my feet there. I don't know if you can see my feet too well. All right. Looking out toward the hand, clearing the mind. Relax the shoulders. Keep the arms up. Out airplane fashion, look toward the hand. Always a gazing point. Couple breaths, couple more breaths. Keep the breathing deep. Engage. Let's come back into reverse warrior. Keep the knee directly over the foot, arching back, looking up toward the hand. Keep the breath going and relax. Okay. And one more, we're going to go into the wide angle, and I'm going to come out to this angle right here, but you can kind of stay where you are if you want. Okay. Hands on the hips. And let's just go from the hips today. If you want to go ahead and reach toward and grab the backs of your feet like this, you can. Everyone else, especially if you're new to yoga, let's just start here. And so we want to stretch out from the small of the back, extending the back out, keeping it straight. All right, so coming down, exhale, and descend. Descend into the posture. And breathe. 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 Notice introspective here. Notice the ground down. You're looking. The goal is to look behind, through your legs behind you. You can do that, otherwise you may just be about halfway down right here. Okay, and let's, couple more breaths. Bend the knees to take pressure off the back. This, by the way, this always takes pressure off the back when you bend the knees. So sometimes going into these postures, you want to keep the knees bent instead of being too straight leg. That puts more pressure on the back. If you can keep the legs straight, that's always better if you have the strength and you're advanced enough to do that. Otherwise, sometimes bend the knees and then stretch like this, and that'll keep your back much more healthy. Okay, so coming up, and let's lift up. Inhale. Once again, and exhale. And let's just go into, we're going to do one down dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. And so in down dog, probably one of the most strength building poses in yoga. And you can do a lot of variations. You can go from down dog into upward dog. You can go into leg variations. You can go into one arm up, one arm down, vice versa, et cetera, et cetera. So it's a very strength building. And sometimes if you can't do anything else during the day, maybe it's good to do a down dog, or maybe a triangle pose. Okay, so let's go into down dog. Feet evenly spaced behind you. Try to get the heels down. My heels are very uneven because of the ground, right? I'm a bad example. All right. Okay. You're in an inverted V position. You're in a V position. And let's go right leg up. Lift the leg up. Lift it. And coming down. Inhale, lift the other leg up. Lift it up. A lot of strength. And down. Both legs up. Oh. Can't do both legs up. All right. What am I thinking? Okay, let's come down through Urdhva Mukha Adho Mukha Svanasana. We're upward facing dog. Back into down dog. Listen to my breath here. So you can see my breathing is very engaged, very active. Staying focused on what you're doing. And let's just bring the knees down. Let's come down that way. And let's come into hero pose. So we'll come right here. And if you can see me, I'm not sure. I'm not sure if you can see my feet and my knees, but that's okay. So we're kind of sitting on our, if you can do that, if that's too much of a strain, so this will stretch out your quadriceps a little bit. Okay. Let's come into child's pose. And come up. Let's lift up like this. And let's just come into Sukhasana for a bit. All right. Bring the hands under the knees and let's take a few breaths. Let's do a couple sideward twists, spinal twists, and this is good for the digestion. Okay, so in our Sukhasana position, so our shoulders are nice and straight, our back is straight, our chin is even with the ground. Relax the eyes, bring the hands underneath the chin. Let's give that neck a stretch once again, or you can bring the hands underneath like this. Tilting upward, looking up, and this gives you the youthful neck. If you do this every day, particularly, so there's a lot of things you can do for the neck and the face in yoga. We'll get into more of those later. And coming down. Breathe. And let's put one hand on the opposite side of the knee. So let's go to the right hand to the left knee. Put the hand in back of you. Relax the shoulder. Look back at the hand in back of you. So you're looking back at your left hand now. Keeping the shoulder straight. Don't squinch the shoulder up like this. So make sure you have enough space in the back so that you can keep a nice drawn shoulder and relax. And this will stimulate your digestion. So in a lot of these yoga poses, by the way, you can this activates the digestive and this gets your system moving, increases your circulatory rhythm, your oxygen flow, and by all of this, so you can really you can have a better digestive process by some of the spinal twist, particularly, and also I might mention the triangle and some of the other ones will actually stimulate, and also Paschimottanasana, which we're going to do in a bit. So when we do these spinal twists, so we're actually massaging the stomach, which has a kind of a reflex on the colon and can actually help to stimulate the digestion a bit. Looking back toward the hand. Nice relaxed shoulder. And let's come into, let's just do it one more way. Or you can come out now if you want. Or just take a break. We're going to do it this way. So one leg is straight, crossing the leg on the opposite side of the knee like this. Hand on the inside of the thigh, arm on the inside of the thigh, looking back toward the hand like this. And so this, once again, it's a nice massage on the stomach. And you can do these poses first thing in the morning, or before you, or at night, which will help your internal system to be much more efficacious and work better. Keeping the mind clear, all right? Looking back toward the hand. A couple more breaths. Let's go to the other side. Oh, this feels so good, it really does, I mean, I do this every day religiously. I mean, first thing in the morning, when I get out of bed, I jump out of bed, I'm on the floor, I'm doing yoga. I mean, I do it at night. I could be in a busy place, or, at Fisherman's Wharf, doing yoga, or could be, on the mountain, after snowboarding or skiing, or in between, just taking a break to do some yoga. You never know. And that's how life is. We never know. You just always go with the flow. Don't be regimented. Don't be a robot. Don't do it because you have to do it. Do it because you want to do it. Looking back toward the hand. Again, so this process of this thigh coming toward the stomach and massaging it gives you a nice internal stretch, and it massages the stomach very nicely. Okay, so here we go, looking back toward the hand. A couple more breaths, and let's just bring the hands back like this, and let's just stretch forward into look down toward our hands in Sukhasana with our knees stretched, and keep the back straight. So in kind of a little forward bend from Sukhasana, seated pose. And let's come up, and let's lift up, and let's go into one more. What am I feeling? I'm feeling like a reverse Purvattanasana, kind of like reverse, but not quite Purvattanasana, incline plane. We won't do the full incline plane. Let's just come up into kind of a reverse tabletop, like this, if you want. And this strengthens the shoulders here. And it also strengthens your gluteal. So if you want within this, you can come up like this, come down, come up. This will, squeezing the gluteal together, and this will make your butt look better. A couple more. And it also gives you a heck of a lot of strength. I'm just going to come out into inclined plane. You don't have to do that. I just did that because I felt like it. Okay. Come back, and let's come back. And like this. And let's just hug the knees into the chest. You can go to Navasana from there into the boat pose. I'm not going to do that today. I mean, I'm going to go a little bit more on the easier side. Just hug the knees into the chest like this. And we're just going to finish up. Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot one more. Paschimottanasana. Let's do forward bend. And I just wanted to talk about some of the things that this is good for. This is the pose of tranquility, pose of humility, because you're realizing that there's not a whole heck of a lot you can do in this pose because you're kind of stopped at a particular point. You can't go further from one point. You just can't go any farther. Some people can go all the way down. They can grab the backs of their feet. I'm not going to do that today. I'm not going to be a yoga eccentric today. And I'm not going to, it's not about showing off or, you know, every day is different. We can do more stuff different days. Some days I can do incredible things. Other days I can't do much at all. But that's the good part about it. You don't always have to do everything in the world because you're always going to be improving and progressing. Hands on the knee, on the legs, gently. Stretch forward, keeping the back straight. Now in this, we notice that we keep a roundness to the elbows. If your arms are too straight, it means you're stretching too far. Bring the hands back a little bit, so stretching forward, inhale, exhale. Noticing that you're feeling the stretch in your hamstrings. If you're feeling too much in the back, you might be going a little too far. So notice if the back starts to round, you're going too far. Okay, so if especially the telltale sign, if your elbows are, your arms are locked, arms are straight, that means you're stretching too far. You have to have a slight roundness to the elbows here. Gazing out at your toes. Sometimes you can hold this pose up to 3 to 5 minutes. Today, looks like about maybe a minute almost. Come out if you're tired. This is good for hypoglycemia, so this is good for the blood sugar. Most of all, this is good for anxiety, for calming your nerves. And they call this the humbling pose. It makes you more humble, hopefully. Does it work for me? I don't know. Sometimes I go to the opposite end of humble, but that is what I'm striving for. So we're striving for when we do yoga, any kind of spiritual, or we go to church or whatever it is. That is the goal. We want to be more humble. It's the opposite. We don't want to be egotistical. And this is what yoga really teaches, to learn that we are mortal beings, that we're not, some of us think we're supermen and that we're almighty powerful and that we can do anything and we're better than everybody else, but that is the exact opposite of what yoga teaches. Yoga teaches you to put yourself in last place, to be the humblest of the humble, the meek of the meek. Not because when you think you're too good and you think you're too great, it puts a stumbling block on your mind. You're not in a position of learning anymore. So you always want to be in a position of learning. Lifting up the hands, inhale into Dandasana, the staff pose, and coming down. And the reverse, the counter stretch for that is inclined plane, and let's just do that if you want. This balances it out. And coming down, and let's just shake out the legs a little bit, and let's finish up. All right, so I'm gonna get up. Okay, here we go. So let's just close out today. And once again, Michael Jeff. Hi, I'm Michael Jeff on the Yoga Lounge channel, and it's nice to have you. Thank you for joining me today and sharing your energy with me. And let's just take a few breaths. Hands into the Anahata chakra. And release. A couple more breaths. Do a balancing pose coming underneath like this. I kind of showed this before, hands on clasp on opposite sides. And we kind of just bring the hands back through like this. Really, it kind of has just a good feeling to it. I don't know why, but okay, let's do the clasp on the opposite sides and work the hands back on through like this. Inward, outward, inward. Going inside, and let's just take a couple moments to breathe in standing pose today. In Tadasana. Now notice how you're feeling now as opposed to when you first started, and this is your mark of improvement. This is where you really feel the changes. You're noticing, and that's when you really mark, that's when you really you're advancing, when you can sense these changes from how you were feeling to how you are feeling. That's the signal that you're moving forward, not backward. Deep breath, opening up, roll the shoulders back, lift the arms up. Again, keep the breath active, deep breath. And release. Okay, Jeff out. Have a great day. We'll see you next week.